Boom. We're here live, ladies and gentlemen. This is Steve and the Arcane Bear. Thank you for joining us this evening. I figured, we'd had this roll of kind of like 2 streams in one day. So this is going to be a little bit of a hangout for no other reason, just because, boom, we're live. What a better way to enjoy the evening than spending it with one another. We're going to go over our regular market sentiments because Bitcoin has just flown into the $46,000 area. And everyone, light's still green, market's still bullish, although I'm sure probably most of you noticed that right out the get-go. For those of you new to the channel, we're going to have it so that as long as the light is green, I believe we are bullish. And if you ever see the light change to red, then you should get worried. But for now, no need to fret, ladies and gentlemen. We're still pretty much 5/12 the way into this bull market. So things are awesome. Feeling pretty good. I was trying to hope I was getting the live music to go through the stream, but I still couldn't figure that out. So, oh well, you can't win them all. But what we're going to do is we're going to dive in right here and look at Bitcoin. So there she is, looking sexy. Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart right now. We've just blown right above the previous areas of resistance here, which we had at 42,000. And for those of you that had joined us on the live stream earlier, we were looking at a potential of a reaccumulation schematic 3, which shows a nice clear break above the box and a little bit of a reaccumulation that breaks down into phase D above that. Now, guys, remember, this is like hunting an animal in the wild. So although this is like a beautiful kind of, let's say, imaginary reaccumulation schematic, they don't always show up exactly like this. What we do want to do is keep an eye out for when the footprints look kind of like this. So back over here, we have Bitcoin jumping well above the box. Very, very important. And we're actually rising on fairly limited volume. We did see that the other day, right before we blew up. I probably should have taken more of an account to that, but we had a rising price on diminishing volume here on the 1 hour. Very slightly diminished, but a noticeable price rise. We got the news that this morning on February 8th that Elon Musk had added Bitcoin to their treasury and are also going to accept Bitcoin for Tesla cars in the future. Now, one of the crazy parts there was that they had actually accumulated Bitcoin 10 days prior. So as far as I know from my attorneys and legal team, that SEC filings have to be done every 10 days. They probably waited till the very last day to do so. And I believe that their accumulation period would have put them, based off today is the 8th. 10 days ago would have been approximately the 28th, give or take. So that puts us at a 10-day spread between when they bought and when the news came out. Maybe the 29th. We'd have to double check on that. But that's around a 10-day spread. And maybe the weekends are separate, so maybe it's like 10 business days. I actually didn't clarify on that. So they had already bought and accumulated right near the bottom of the box last week when I said, hey guys, don't get worried. Like, this is probably the lowest we'll see Bitcoin. If we're lucky, we'll get a spring to 27,000. Now, one of the areas was I was kind of wrong in my conjecture this week, and it's always good to go over the things that we got wrong. And maybe wrong isn't the right word, but I misjudged. And I think this is a good place to look at it. I talked about our run into resistance here. Now, see these 2 yellow lines? This kind of represents an area of resistance here. And we were looking at reaccumulation schematic 2, where we had a run into the top of resistance here before we came back down. And I had said a few times that I thought we would hit resistance at 40,000 and then come back down to 33,000. And I was wrong. We didn't get that low. But I can actually, now that we've got a little bit of retrospective analysis ahead of us, what we can see is, well, maybe there's something that I did get wrong that we can look back at and learn from. Well, now that I look back, part of the question is, was this actually the resistance touch and then the break below the creek before the breakout above? And that's kind of what I'm leaning into, especially because we're seeing just such strong momentum outside of the box here, that even reaccumulation schematic 3, we haven't seen that backup yet. Now, we do know that the buying climax and the automatic rally represent the area where that would kind of back up into, which would do something like this. But seeing as we're in the middle of the bull market, for those of you that are new to buying and selling, ooh, there goes the power in Costa Rica. I don't know if it's going to come back on. And I just got one hell of a hell of a shock there. So that's not super exciting. But what we can do is, even though you guys can't see me, oh, you can hear that annoying beeping in the background. Oh, one sec. Yeah, so there's it's dark here now. It's okay. We can do it like this. I'm gonna turn off the beeping though. 1 second. Oh wait, I got a light here. I got lights here. Oh, I forgot. We can just turn on some lights. Yay, studio lights. Okay, there's one. Damn, son. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to finish this live stream tonight or not. Leaves us in a little bit of a predicament, but there you go. That's what it looks like anyways. Yeah, TO after dark. Okay, well, we still got some electricity. So we'll just roll with that. Okay, we've lost power for a minute. I don't know what happened, but I just got a shock too. So whatever it was a noticeable thing. Okay, I look like I'm in a horror film now. Yeah, an EMP. I think the US government has some conspiracy theory to take TO off the air right now, but we're going to persist anyways. TO's back in black, and you can hear my UPS supplies keeping us online right now. Okay, where was I? Oh, right. So in the process of learning, we don't want to take failure too hard. Otherwise, you just don't show back up. If I was like, oh my God, I got it wrong. Like, we didn't come back down to $33,000. That's it. I quit, guys. No more charting, no more analyzing, no more learning. I wouldn't have made it very far in life. So even though we were invalidated, we can actually go back and use this as a potential to learn something. It's too bad that beeping in the background is going to have to stay, because that's what's keeping the other electricity running at all to begin with. So please excuse me, but I wanted to do a live stream, so I guess we're just going to deal with the... we're just going to deal with it anyways. Okay, so this could have been the run into resistance that we were looking for, and not the $40,000 mark. And that's kind of an interesting conjecture to make, is that maybe we see the first run into resistance here, which was at 40,000 before we were sold back down right away. And this was Elon's first tweet, like, oh, it was inevitable, Bitcoin in my name. And then he'd already bought Bitcoin, by the way, too. Like, it was already a done deal from what we can tell from the SEC filing. So this moment when he first you saw the first market pump, he was already done. They were already done buying Bitcoin based off that 10-day accumulation time. So that might have been the first run into resistance. And that's what I could have got wrong about the break across the creek. So again, even though we kind of invalidated the thesis that I thought we were going to get, which was this was the run in the creek, and then the kind of decline back down, what we want to really find out now is, do we get this backup phase and then now call this phase C, moving into phase D, and then phase E, where we're just going to go absolutely blitzo. I think Bitcoin's going to run to probably $80,000 very fast. And for those of you that weren't around during the bull market of 2017, the next phases become, face melters. That's what we like to call them. And for good reason. So what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of a retrospective analysis now, and we will take a look at Bitcoin in 2017. Just as a kind of a fun part here, I think what's important to do is when we're going through the study process is to give ourselves the time to make an assessment. Now, tomorrow's episode is actually going to be called something like Apple Bull Market something Bitcoin. Apple should create crypto exchange and buy Bitcoin, says RBC. Capital markets. There's a few of these ideas coming out now. RBC analysts lifted the price target for Apple to 171, implying a 25% rally from Friday's close. Apple can unlock a multi-billion-dollar business by opening a wallet app for crypto trading, RBC said. Apple can attract users to its service, buying $1 billion in Bitcoin itself. Interesting. So some of the world's largest companies are now accumulating Bitcoin. Welcome to the team, guys. It's good to have you here. Although I'm not a big fan of Tim Cook because he's not really an entrepreneur, at least Elon Musk has led the way. And we're seeing more and more of this growth into the ecosystem where they're starting to go, well, wait a second. This is a pick your own money video game, and people want to pick their own money, so let's let them. So now that we know there's such an enormous amount of intention coming into these markets, let's again retrospectively look back at 2017 and really get to that face melting moment where it starts to get a little chaotic. Like it starts to get difficult to even understand the markets at those points. I wonder if I should even keep this stream live just because I've got the beeping in the background. You guys let me know if you can even hear the beeping in the background of my UPS supplies because they are super annoying right now. Or at least for me, so I'm not sure if they will be for you. I wish we had the music in the background playing. That'd be super nice, but can't win all the games. One game at a time. Okay, here's our full retrospective chart. We'll go in and we'll make sure the stream is not playing on this screen here. Okay, yeah, the stream's going smoothly. No, good. You guys can't hear it. Okay, awesome. That's a huge plus. We're good with the beep. Awesome. Okay, so back to this retrospective study. Again, we'll be live tomorrow, but I think that this is, I figured we'd go live for a little bit and just try it out, see what happens. Funny that the electricity went out. Your cool voice is clear and calming. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so back to 2017. Rewind. Take a little bit of a blast in the past with Marty McFly here as we scroll into 2017. Now, where I believe we are now is in one of these two first accumulation patterns, reaccumulation patterns, where you had a lot of volatility before we go absolute insanity. So I think we're probably at this one. It fits the equivalent of the percentage outside of the box, more or less. The beep is life support. Yeah, totally. It's what's keeping us online right now. Beep beep. It's like the electronic heartbeat of my Wi-Fi right now. Okay, so these 30% gaps that we had back here in November 2017, they lasted around 90 days of the reaccumulation. And notice that the backup phase there was almost non-existent. So if you take a look at these, once they got outside of the box, they pretty much went straight up into the next reaccumulation panel. And again here too, straight up into the next reaccumulation before you saw, again, another horizontal accumulation range and then a final breakout. But this moment here, this is where it starts to go absolute insane, is really, really important to keep an eye on because this is where retail starts to show up, is later in this cycle. So we'll just, again, retrospective study here. It's not exact, but sometimes the future rhymes with the past. So we had a 96-day period after that accumulation range before we started to hit our top, another 400% up from that accumulation box, at least at its bottom, from the top of its box, approximately 295%. So we can assume one of two things. Number one, obviously, if there was a light behind me right now, it would be green. It'd be very, very green. But because we're because we're in blackout mode right now, there's no light. It's a mysterious bull market. We have no idea. So this breakout moment, I think, that's coming is likely going to be, look how parabolic it got, first off. Notice the subtle change in the way the market started to go up and up and up. And we've seen this recently with Avalanche too, is just this character sentiment where it starts to go up and straight up into a parabolic move. We saw this also in Aave as well, and it's just the general curve of the whole market signature as we move. So from the last box in Bitcoin that we were looking at way back here in 2017 to the top, we were only took 90 days. So we effectively went from $3,000 to $20,000 in 90 days. That if we were to take somewhat of an equivalent today, ladies and gentlemen, that would look like a little something like this, where we would go from like 30,000, let's just remove a zero basically, all the way up to $200,000 in like 90 days, okay? So one of the reasons why I want to go over this for a few reasons. Number one, I've said many times I believe Bitcoin is our collateral asset. I use it as our money in this ecosystem. And although I'm a huge fan of venture capital, Bitcoin has earned its spot, or at least is continuing to earn its spot, as that financial gateway drug, into the rest of these alternative assets. Now, Avalanche just happens to be one that our tech team really liked, and for better or for worse, well, for better if you had it in your portfolio, obviously, but for, I guess, for the conversation wise, there's a lot of people out there that are maximalists, think, oh my God, it's only Bitcoin, it's the only choice, it can only be Bitcoin, it's the most decentralized, and they say all this stupid cultist shit that sounds absolutely atrocious to anyone that knows anything about, well, investing. So what I recommend is study and education. And really look at the people that have made billions of dollars and listen to them instead. You know, we've had podcasts with David Hornick, someone who did $3 billion in venture capital. And there's so many new tech companies that come out and create value. And those value and wealth creators are important, right? Bitcoin is now just a wealth keeper. This is how I keep my wealth from not degrading. And I think a big part of this conversation came from the fact that for some reason, these big CEOs didn't have a goddamn fucking clue that currency and money are two different things. Currency is designed to be inflated because it has to some way in shape or form take into account that new entrepreneurs are being born every day and they're generating new ideas that generate new wealth. And you need velocity moving into the ecosystem. I think the US government should be printing more money, or more currency to be specific. And that's the big difference, is that money is supposed to be a place where you can store value, much more like a battery. Currency is more like the electricity that moves through the wires after it leaves that battery. And they're two different things. Now, that's a very, very important distinction to make, because you need both money and currency in a functioning economic environment. If you have a money that's totally fixed in supply, why would anyone want to sell it, right? Like, I don't want to let go of my Bitcoin, but I'll trade it for other assets, right? Or you can use money to pay for other assets as well. And this has always been one of the really interesting points of the conversation. And I don't know the answer to it. I don't claim to know the answer to it, but I'm interested always to learn more. And that's why I think it's so important to understand things like Avalanche and what they potentially bring to the table. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, Avalanche right now, you get like 35% APY, but you also have unique things like this. So our tech team, don't use this yet, by the way, guys, or do whatever you want, but make sure you do a lot of due diligence. Zero is a potential here where it allows you to, for cross-chain transfers, to move from Ethereum to Avalanche in the click of a button. Now, what that means is the entire DeFi sector right now could just move to Avalanche and it would cost almost nothing. It would just cost the gas fees to transition. Avalanche is a much better system than Ethereum, and the smart contract layer Bitcoin doesn't have, and it may not ever have, because it's already doing its fucking job as a money. Leave it alone. But money is more valuable when you can make loans, when you can add escrow, when you can add things like wills, contracts, subscription payments, and the rest of the financial ecosystem. So these maximalists, what they don't understand is that Bitcoin is less valuable without Ethereum. One of the reasons why Bitcoin is so much more valuable is because of the rest of the layers and what they're building around it. The TCP IP protocol was like, yeah, that's cool, but if we add HTTP on top of that, and IMAP and Prop3 and FTP and all these other different services that are different layers of protocol, you've built the internet, right? And although we've got the core of Bitcoin as our collateral layer, the rest of these ecosystems like Avalanche, Ethereum, Cardano, Link provide a conversation for the way we run the rest of the financial ecosystem. And that is a very, very important conversation that should not be overlooked. So I want to explain, guys, my internet, or the electricity went out halfway through this, or the beginning of this. So we're in the dark right now. So don't worry about the no green light. It's just the way it is right now. This is a late night with Tiho live stream where we've lost the main electricity, but we still have the backup power running all the gear that's important, at least. So no lights, but we have internet and computers and microphones. All the important stuff in Tiho's life. So again, the important part again here, at least from what I think we should recognize, is that there's a really valuable relationship between all of these other correlated assets. So I don't know why you guys are having problems with the volume, but it's just a few of you as far as I can tell, because it's not all of you. And oh wait, I can see, maybe I could turn it up a little bit, check 1 2. Did something happen? Maybe something happened while I was did the computer shut down? Input, oh yeah, the volume is a little bit lower than it normally is. There we go. Okay, it is a little bit lower than it normally was. Sorry about that, guys. It must have been when the computer turned back on earlier today. It just resets things. Stupid fucking computers, hey? Save my goddamn fucking choices. Actually, thank you, computer. Thank you, Bluetooth, that the wireless shit that I have no idea how it works manages to function. Like, I'm so grateful for that because... Okay, I turned it up. Yeah. Fucking pansies, turn your volume up. Tio's quiet in the evening. You know what I do? It actually makes you want to listen more. You're like leaning to the computer. Like, do you really want to hear what I'm saying? Because I want to say it quieter every time you want to hear it. And that way you're going to have to focus. And if I have your focus and attention, you'll probably do a better job of listening. Anyways, the point of this whole conversation, I think that I wanted to get into, was understanding the relationship that all of these protocols have together. And don't join a cult. Don't join a religious sect about like, oh, to praise the Bitcoin because the Satoshi, the non-person we don't know, made a code that we have, we can use. It just makes no sense. It makes absolutely zero sense to fall down that rabbit hole when you have so many cool things taking place. I am forever curious and bewildered by how interesting this stuff is. And I will never claim that I know. But what I will do is go out on a limb, take a risk, and try to learn something new every day. And although I'm mostly focused on money moving into something, like, for instance, I don't actually know what Avalanche is. My tech team is just like, dude, Avalanche. I'm like, oh, great, that's all I need to know. Let's just follow the money now. And that's what we did. And that's worked out great so far. But there's a reason why it's worked out great, is because this tech has a unity together. It has a relationship with how they function together. So Link, Avalanche, ADA, Cardano, Ethereum, they make Bitcoin more valuable, just the way HTTP protocol made TCP/IP protocol more valuable. And not just only that, the things that are built on top for the social front end over the next few years are going to make the rest of this ecosystem even more valuable. So the reason why companies like Apple are going to talk about, oh, we should build a wallet into our app and have Bitcoin exchanges, is because they recognize something that a lot of people will soon eventually find out. Technology is valuable. We, over the last bunch of years, have built a symbiotic relationship with this silica. And for better or for worse, this is the way we survive. The reason why I can live in the jungle, I got on an airplane that has GPS guided systems and probably flew a good chunk of the flight here, like with no pilot paying attention, probably half landed because of computers too. Technology has drastically changed the way we move around this world. It's not just like, oh, we need to solve the money problem. No, it's much bigger than that. We have a shit ton of things we have to deal with here on this planet because we're floating on a ball of ice and rock and fire, flying through space, and we're in a cosmic shooting gallery. And until we learn that we're in like an infinite species trying to travel through the stars, we're going to keep pandering and fighting over scarcity issues like territorial monkeys. And I really hope that we get past that. And I think technology is the way that we do that. For instance, the fact that I can go live, even though I have like no freaking electricity right now, via like a really nice camera with a nice microphone. This used to cost millions of dollars. Technology is inherently extremely deflationary, bringing the ability of what was only in the hands of very few people just 40 years ago into the hands of someone random like me. We've got 400 people on the live stream. Maybe we'll get thousands of views of this. This is really important to understand because technology inherently reduces the costs of entry. Right? Anyone in the world right now can have a cell phone and they can start a YouTube channel too. And maybe they'll become internet famous. From TikTok has allowed this same thing. Technology is inherently deflationary. So this relationship with technology, I would never look at it and go, oh yeah, just only Bitcoin. That makes zero sense. If you had just Bitcoin and no cell phones and no computers, bye-bye Bitcoin. Like this is a relationship between all of technology and the human species. And I really hope that people understand that it is probably our destiny to be a cosmic species, to get not just live on this planet, hopefully in harmony with one another, but to be able to live off this planet in harmony with one another again. And that's kind of one of the dreams I have, and why I'm excited about this stuff is because I think these are stepping stones to get there. Anyways, a little bit of a cosmic chat there, but back into the Bitcoin price. As you can see, we are currently sitting at $46,500. We've had an absolute explosion outside of that box. Look at that. Boom, 23% straight up of buying. A lot of pressure. And on the nice side too, we see two very key points in the volume supply that I think is important. Number one here is the diminished volume signature and supply signature versus the rising price. Now, people always get this wrong in the markets, so we're just going to go over it again. Number one, the amount of supply coming in here less is ultra bullish, because number two, you have this price spread. This is the law of effort versus result. So the amount of effort and the amount of result. So the amount of effort is the amount of supply that came into the market to create that result. And that first result that we saw was approximately 23%. Now, with less effort, less supply coming into the market, we see this new price spread of around 26%. These are the bullish indicators we are looking for the continuation pattern that says, yes, we're going to $65,000, $80,000 Bitcoin probably sooner than you think. And then when we go from 80,000 to 200,000, it's going to come so quickly. You're not even going to really have time to recognize that those changes. It's going to be something like this. We'll go up to 85,000. We'll come back down maybe to 60,000. And then before you know it, we'll be sitting upwards of $200,000, $300,000 Bitcoin. And this cycle is designed to screw with you. It's literally designed, the markets have designed themselves over the years to take advantage of human emotion and to basically take advantage of you, us, the human emotion, the ones that carry all the weight of interest of family and loved ones and normal things like life and death. The market doesn't die. The market outlives any one of us, right? Same like yoga. Yoga has never died, right? Chairs haven't died. Chairs have lived longer than you have. Remember that. Chairs are like a primordial being. Okay. What do I mean by that? When we're dealing with something that basically lives on the fabric of human consciousness, we have to take into account that it exists in a different layer than we do. So one of the things the markets have gotten really good at is taking advantage of that human emotion. And look how we've just blown past the previous regression line too. Super important. That regression line at $42,000 was a very big area of resistance here as well from the multi-year chart. So now that we're above that, we are in total blue sky moment. This for Bitcoin from here on out is going to be likely going to be the insanity moments. And what you're going to probably end up finding is that, yes, we go super high, but people are going to expect us to go even higher. So let's say we go to like $200,000. Let's go, just make some conjecture. Say we go to $200,000, right? And on our way there, eventually all the retail will start to join in, and they're going to say, we're going to $500,000. We're going to $1 million Bitcoin. And maybe we go to $300,000 and like, no, I swear this is it. We're going to, and we go to like 402, and then we come and we drop back down like this. And you see a big distribution pattern, very similar to what we saw back in 2017, when you had a hyperbolic run followed by massive distribution. This has always happened. And the markets do this because this is how they take advantage of your emotions. They take advantage of your idea that, oh, the markets are only going to go up. They only ever go up. They never go down, right? That's how markets work. But that's obviously not how that works. We've seen that time and time again. So they've been good at taking advantage of the human emotion, and they've outlived any of the people that use it to their advantage to take advantage of your emotion as well. It's a very, very important factor. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode. That was a good chunk of our live stream. Apparently I'm going to have to check every time I reset the computer to make sure that the volumes are reset too. Otherwise, apparently they go back to zero. I'll take a few minutes to go over some of your guys' thoughts and questions. Remember to give us a thumbs up if you like this content. And leave your comments down below. Remember, guys, if you also want to, please go to the regular social channels like Twitter and follow us on Twitter, because we write funny stuff like mushrooms are the most underrated technology, and we share beautiful views of the Costa Rican jungle. This is my local beach here. So if you ever wonder why I try to run out on live stream so early, is because this is like 7 minutes away from my house. Okay, so the next thing is follow me there on Twitter. Also, follow me on Instagram as well. This is another fun place where I like to post photos of rising wedges on double rounded bottoms. See a little bit of charting everywhere. And then also on our website, guys, if you want, go there, go to the website. This is actually the private group that I'm about to show you, so you can join our private group, remembering that the common sickness of the early and new investor and trader comes from lack of education and over emotional investing. So one of the best ways to cure that is to create a healthy environment, which we have done in the private Arcane Bear group. So you can join those by going to arcanebear.com/private or just visiting our website. And you can sign up for our free newsletter, where we do actually push out some of the updates that we share with the private group, just usually 2 weeks later after they've already done 100%. So you get the free information about the education, but after we've already sent it out to the private group for like 2 weeks. I have to find some way to share with everybody to some degree or another. So check it out. Let me know what you guys think. We've got some smashing reviews. You can read all the reviews that people have wrote. Lots of 5-star reviews. Again, hundreds and hundreds of members and tons of 5-star reviews. So really excited about that. We're going to be adding some new products in the future. We do private webinars in the group, technical analysis. We're going to be adding courses and quizzes, hopefully in Q2 as well, and more tools and resources. We're going to look at how we can build some of this stuff out. So thank you guys all for supporting us this evening. I do see one question about Digibyte. And my suggestion there, because I did look at it earlier, is it's not as exciting as DeFi and what the DeFi stuff has been doing lately. Things like Avalanche. I was a big fan of Digibyte, and then Avalanche happened. So I don't know. You guys have probably heard me say Avalanche on every freaking episode by this point. So just understand that as time changes, your understanding of the market should change, because new things evolve, and that's pretty important thing to take into account. Okay, I really appreciate your guys' support. We're gonna leave it at that for tonight's live stream. Over 410 people in the live stream. Thank you guys. I'm going to be back tomorrow, hopefully with lights, and you'll be able to see the green lights. And don't fret, don't worry. We'll keep that in mind. Steal with the Arcane Bear. Actually, I could just chill out with you guys too, but it's late here. It's 10:19. I'm gonna go to bed. Probably gonna do some push-ups and some sit-ups and listen to some music. So I love you. Well, I've got the guitar tune for tomorrow too as well, so we'll keep that in mind, guys. Steal with the Arcane Bear signing off for the rest of the evening. Bam.